Hey, good morning, Hamlings. K1GMM here. I have Bombasticus Maximus locked in a closet. The raggy that he is. Anyways. Oh, we have, oh, no, that's a little odd. Looks like my scene switcher is going crazy. Didn't catch that one. So, very exciting stuff. This is a hat tip to Icom. I'm going to put right up front, I don't drink anybody's Kool-Aid. The only reason I buy a transceiver is because it does what I want it personally to do. That's the disclaimer right up front. You guys know how I roll. I do have an Icom. So, I was talking to Jerry last late afternoon, I think it was yesterday. And he popped in and he said, hey, Todd. He says, hey, I am running adaptive pre-distortion on the 7610. And I looked at the signal and I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, I will jump in on 3615 tomorrow morning, which is this morning, and I will light up OBS and I will do some video captures of that running. I said, I really need to see it at like 20 over. And he said, good deal. So it looks like, Mervin, Todd, it looks like he did a preemptive strike. This was a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago now. He said Icom is releasing a firmware update for the 7610, which will enable adaptive pre-distortion. Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Now, just to let you guys know, I don't know that much about what's going on with the firmware updates with Icom. I am not a representative of Icom. This is like third, fourth, fifth person that I heard this from. I've been here, and I hear no chatter on the air about this. So I figured I am going to put a video up. I was able to grab some captures of pre-distortion working on the 7610. And at the end of it, I'm going to have some thoughts about this whole thing. So, which you guys may find pretty interesting. So, and yes, I'm going to get to that mic. Something interesting that Jerry was telling me. Again, this is third, fourth, fifth person. So don't hold me, don't tie me down to the railroad tracks, please. But I'm going to show it to you. And it's quite remarkable. All right. And I'm going to have some thoughts at the end of this. So without further ado, let me get over to the video capture. And let's see, we need that one. Okay, this is from this morning. Okay, and I'm going to show you the difference. Now, he was running, I believe it's a 1306 up to 800 watts, an Ameritron solid state amp. It's old. It's like the PW1. And you tell me whether it's worth it or not after what you guys see. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and roll this. This is the start of the clip. And I'm going to let it roll for a little bit. So you guys, and I'm going to tell you, actually there'll be audio there, and he will say when it's on or off. All right, so let's roll the tape.
Now about 400, 500 watts, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm pushing about, 400. So, yeah, she's running. I just started the recording, so I'll just let it sit here, and I'm not gonna, I won't do a short clip. I'll just leave it running here for a little bit. Yeah, so we can just sit here and chat if you want and do normal, and you can toggle back and forth, and let me know when you do that so you'll see it on the video. Yeah, I think you'll be able to tell. You should be able to tell. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's on. It's on now. Okay, we're running.
Okay, watch this, guys.
About 400 watts. So let me toggle it off. Okay. Oh, I got it on key. Hold on a second. Okay, now it's off.
Check
So
that
let's
out.
see what the difference is here. Now this is interesting. I turned it off, and the power seemed to have gone up here with it off. It's now like 670 watts. So it did seem to cut my power back without me changing anything else when it's on. Let me put it back on again. Okay, now it's back on. Yeah, so that's interesting.
You see it correct?
Cutting my power back by
It took a few 2, 3, 4 seconds for the correction to kick in. Wow. Yeah, I think when you see that, you'd be like, "Holy crap!" It does. What's up, Jonathan? It does. So, as far I should have looked at the signal meter as we sit here and chat. Just maybe between overs, start your over, say it's on, and then when it comes back around the next over, say it's off. Mike, are you privy to what Jerry's playing with there? You still have the 7610, right?
Yeah, I got the 7300.
Okay, do you still have the 7610?
I do, yep.
Oh, okay. Mikey, did you say you're running power right now? No, you're not. You're just barefoot. Okay, I remember. Never mind.
Yep, just 100 watts. Well, I got my coffee and blueberry muffins.
I would say he's just a little tad on the spoiled side. Okay, well, Steve, it's off now. Now, this is interesting. It's off. Yeah, I'm not going to change anything here. I'm just going to, I'm going to bring my power up. Okay, this is about 800 watts with it off. I just want to see what it does with no coupler in this amplifier. So this is 800 watts. The digital pre-distortion is off, and I'm seeing about 800 watts. Now, let me just unkey, and I'll turn it back on.
Okay, there's the IMD. It's out to...
Okay, I just turned it back on.
Check that out.
Now the power looks... no, it looks like it's a little lower. It looks like it takes a couple seconds to correct, but the power seems to be a little bit on the lower side, about a 100-watt drop.
Okay, so I couldn't see. Okay, so you guys can go back in and you can look at the two. I'll just leave that clip that short. I think it's evident enough. So I see this primarily on solid state amps with conventional transceivers running through solid state amps. All solid state amps are filthy. Yes, even the Mercuries. I can prove it. Anybody who has a scope or anything like that, a full screen pan adapter will see it running on any radio, including an Icom, including the Anon that I have. I do not run a coupler on the Anon. So you notice now, later on in this video, I checked to see how far the IMD was spreading out, the blowout. And it was about 8 kilohertz. It was blowing out, and that's standard, what I see with Jerry. Now, the Icoms are very, very clean. We all know they are. But running on solid state amps, they do blow out, like all transceivers do. It's just Icoms are still a little bit cleaner, actually quite a bit cleaner. So on a valve amplifier, they are incredibly clean. Like if I run the Icom on the AL80A, it's very, very clean. And many people have told me, including yesterday, I was told they thought I was on the Anon, and I wasn't. I was on the Icom. Because of how clean it is. All right, that's not about this, but that's just to give you some context. Anyways, now moving on to my thoughts about this. Excuse me. This firmware, from what I understand, is only available through Icom Japan, and it's in Japanese. So you got to kind of hack your way through it. And I told Jerry, I said, run it for a week. A week or two, and see if it's stable. So far, so good, but he hasn't even been running it, I don't think, for 24 hours, so that's not enough time. The reason why I say that is we've all seen this before, especially with the Herpes Light 2. The Herpes radios I've seen blow out 30K wide, 30K wide. Everything will go sideways, audio will go into distortion, pure signal has a fit. I have run my Anon. I reminded Jerry of this morning. I said, remember when I was running the Anon, this was like a year and a half ago maybe. He asked me, he said, are you running a double sideband? And I said, no, I'm on lower sideband. And he says, it looks like you're running in double. No, this is on the Anon. I said, I know what it is. So I went in and I toggled the pure signal on and off, bang, everything snapped back into shape. It happens. It just happens on those radios. So what I am looking for is stability on that system. Every time you light it up, does it work? That's what I'm curious about. Now, on to the meat and the potatoes. Why? And I'm hoping Icom sees this. I really do, guys. Wave to the guys from Icom. Hat tip. Awesome. In my opinion, for what it's worth, bringing pre-distortion, adaptive pre-distortion pure signal into the Icom. Heck yeah, Johnson. There you go. Here's a spitball. Now, this is for everybody else. Why would Icom do this? I don't know. But see, I approach things from a business standpoint, having multiple small businesses all my life. If you look at market share, right? Market share. The Herpes Light 2s are very cost effective. Would I own one? Not a chance in hell. Those things are an abomination to me. They do absolutely nothing for me. All right. I've seen more problems with those things. Just no. And I know that software and I know those systems. They are not stable. They're not predictable. They're stable. Like I said, if you have them 3 years and you've never had a single issue with it, I'd call that stable. Right. So, however, if you look at market share and you look at the dent that is being put into the market share of, let's say, Yaesu, Icom, Kenwood, a lot of people are getting into that. Anon is a one-of-a-kind type radio, right? It has pre-distortion pure signal, has the ability to run more than 3 kilohertz wide, and it has diversity noise canceling capability. The only other radio, I believe, but don't hold me to this, the only other radio that's capable of that, I'll tell you where I'm going with this, so be patient. The only other radio that's capable of that is the old Flex 5000 that had diversity noise canceling capability. I don't even know if the new Flex 6600 series with 2 independent ADCs has that in their software. I've never been told that they have that ability. Don't know. But I'm just saying, Anon's the only one that has that. Here's where I'm going. This is the shout out to Icom. The most obvious thing, you guys have all heard of Occam's razor, right? So if in fact they came out with adaptive pre-distortion to kind of grab, to gain some of that market share, right? What's the next step from there? The 7610 has 2 independent receivers, right? Most of us know that. I asked Jerry this morning, I said, can you adjust, can you make changes to each receiver? In other words, can you run preamps and attenuators on each receiver independently of one another? He said, hold on, let me check. So he went in and checked. He says, yes, they are independent. Score on that. Here's why. Let me get over to the other screen. What you see here is the RSBA software. Now, of course, the 7610, he's running version 2. So what's the logical next step? What do you think Icom, I don't know this, what do you think Icom might be working on? Think about this, right, guys? They already have the software, and it is rock solid and stable. I know because I run it. I have never had one issue. I've been running it since the beginning of this summer. Every time I light it up, once it's configured and it's working, you don't have to touch it. It lights it. I haven't lit this up in probably a month and a half down here, and I lit it up today, and it lit right up, off and running. What you're seeing is the software running. This is the remote RSBA 1 version 1. However, version 2 runs on the 7610, so here's where I'm going. You have 2 independent receivers on the 7610. What does the Anon have that no other radio has? Well, the 7610 has adaptive pre-distortion, and I think the final revision of the firmware is coming because it's available. You can get it, and it does work. And as you saw, it works amazing. So what does that have that no other radio has? Diversity noise canceling capability. So here's the spitball. If I were Icom, they already have the software as you're looking at right now. If I were Icom, seeing as how it has 2 independent receivers, I would put diversity noise canceling capability. All they need is the algorithm and the ability to change the gain and the phase angle of each independent receiver through this RSBA software. Think about this. All they'd have to do is just add a bullseye and write that into the software. And you'd have diversity noise canceling on a 7610. Think about that, guys. Think about that. I'm wondering if this is where they're going. They're obviously paying attention to the market, right? They're paying attention. They know that people are all hot, all frothy and losing their freaking minds over adaptive pre-distortion. Well, they just nailed that. Well, it's not nailed shut yet, but it's out there and you can run it and it's working. And as you saw, it's quite remarkable. Okay, before I go any further, here's something I need to say because Mikey mentioned this. He said, I thought it was just for the new PW2. So I asked Jerry about this, and he told me that somebody had tried to get a 7610 adaptive pre-distortion running on it with a coupler. And I believe it was a KPA 1500 or 500, one or the other, and it wouldn't work. And he mentioned theoretically you should be able to bring the attenuator signal out of the coupler to the ALC in on the back of the transceiver, and that will correct what's coming out of the amplifier, right? In theory. But they tried it and it doesn't work. So, Mikey, you may be right. It may only work with the PW2, which tells me quite possibly that it's using like the CIV cable that runs from the Icom to the amplifier. This is a spitball. I'm just trying to figure this out. And of course, there's pretty much no information on it, so we don't know. So I'll just put that out there. This is third, fourth, fifth person. So take it for what it's worth. Okay, so the coupler's built into the PW2. Now, here's my question. How is the coupler in the PW2 communicating with the 7610? If the coupler's built into the 7610, my gut tells me it's through the control cable of the PW2. And provision has not been made to use, let's say, the ALC on the back of the radio as an input from the coupler. That's what my... Yes, KPA 1500 with a 7300 CIV. Okay, so that's what my gut tells me. I have no idea. So moving on from that, I figured I'd just say that. So you've got adaptive pre-distortion, and if they wrote the algorithm, whatever it is, to change the phase and the gain of each receiver into the RSBA software, boom, you got diversity noise canceling. That's a game changer. That's huge because, in my opinion, that's the only reason to buy an Anon. That's it. Who cares about pre-distortion? Really. But diversity noise canceling, heck yeah. That is a game changer. So I'm wondering, it's a wait and see game. I hope they do it. Now, the other thing, you're sitting here looking at the screen, right? So I understand why they did the software the way they did, because it's remote software. However, you get most of the controls on the front of the radio, pretty much all of them are tweakable right from this panel. So, but the spectrum leaves a bit to be desired. And also, you can't expand these out. So what I would like to see is them modify the software so that the spectrum is integrated with the control, the remote control part of the GUI. So it's all integrated and you can go full screen. I don't even really care what it looks like. Whatever, Of course, this is, this spectrum is pretty primitive. It does work. That's what I would like to see. And my final thoughts are, my final thought is, how everybody, and yes, that too, but that's having a cluster overlay on the spectrum. But you couldn't put a cluster overlay on this spectrum. It would have to be a full screen spectrum, right? I agree with you. I'm hoping Icom sees this. I'm really excited. And so the final thought is, we all know, and this to me is a non-issue, but I'm going to say it because so many people say it. Okay, the ability to run wider than 2.9 wide. I am torn over this because of what Bombasticus Maximus is going to be addressing, most likely sometime today. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And it does have to do with adaptive pre-distortion, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. What I will say is, how many times have you gotten on a band? It's been happening to me over and over for the past few days, because I've spent some time on the radio in the afternoons on 40 meters, 17 meters. And I'm not referring to people running wider than, let's say, 3K, right? Personally, I have no need to run wider than 3K. I can generate enough energy so people think I'm running in 4K, actually. I'm only running 2.9K and I'm 3K, and they'd swear if they close their eyes, I was running 4K. So it's all in how you set up your audio, right? So the amount of IMD that is on the band is absolutely insane. You can't go anywhere right now. The bands are in fair shape. They're pretty good shape. I've seen people blowing out every day, 10, 13K wide. And I mean a wipeout. I've seen guys blowing out so bad that I can see the spectrum, the noise floor jumping across about 150 kilohertz. That's how bad I've seen it. So, is this an important feature? I would say yes. Adaptive pre-distortion. It should be on every radio. Just because of people who don't know how to run a radio. Bombastic is going to have more than that. I am going to let him out of the closet. And unfortunately, he's probably going to put duct tape on my mouth. So I won't be able to interject or say anything. So that's it, guys. Those are my thoughts. Market share, Icom. Home run with the 7300. Absolutely home run, but man, you want to up the ante. The TX bandwidth. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and I suspect you may start seeing the FCC crack down on this splatter situation because people are just being ridiculous. It is disgusting what I'm seeing. Filthy. That's all I'll say about that. But Icom, yeah, diversity noise canceling, put that in your software. I'll tell you what, gloves come off. You do that, the gloves come off. Because what I've been saying for a few years now, noise is an epidemic. We have an epidemic of noise. I live out in the country, and I can tell you that I deal with noise off and on all the time. Big EMI bursts, crap of EMI all over from inverters running in the neighborhood or grow lights. Some meth head across the street is doing something, or, it could be anything. Christmas lights. I know I've been hearing people complain about Christmas lights now. So it's an epidemic. It's everywhere. It doesn't matter whether you need, but just my thoughts. We'll catch y'all later. 7-3. Thanks for checking in the chat, everybody. I will leave comments open. So go ahead and share your comments. Last thing out of my yapping flapper is going to be the last thing I want to say is, and I forgot what I was going to say because I saw what John wrote. It wasn't that important anyways. Hey, Scott, how's it going? We'll catch you later. Yep, put your comments in there. Go ahead. Put in the comments section what you want to see. What do you want to see from Icom? That's what I was going to say. Put in the comments what you want to see and pray that they see this. I have keywords tag in the tag section. I have very specific keywords. Hopefully Icom sees this. They're not stupid people, obviously. My gut tells me that they see the trend and they're moving on it. And they're the only ones moving on it. No, I didn't get a 7610. But I'll tell you what, they come out, now that they have adaptive, we're waiting on the final carved in stone adaptive pre-distortion. It is working. But if they come out with diversity noise canceling on the RSBA software, hell yeah, that freaking Anon is going down the road, and I don't care what I get for it. Because I'll take that I'll take a 7610 over the Anon any day, only because of the stability factor. I like radios that I light up and they just freaking work and I don't have to dick around with anything. I love that. So we'll see you guys later. Have a great day. And watch out for a boom short coming. There's 2 boom shorts coming. From what Maximus told me, he's got 2. And one of them may be rather disturbing. So we'll catch y'all later. 7-3.